understanding the person who's the creator behind this is the most important factor. Just by connecting with that creator, who's Ananta, who spread everywhere, and whose energies are unlimited, is the most powerful way for us to succeed in our life. So that's why Lord has given this Harinam as a tool to connect with him. Right? So let's understand what does this connect, or which is called as the yoga process, helps us. So now let's say there is a very influential person, a rich person, a knowledgeable person in our city. We somehow made friendship with him. We became good friends. What is the benefit of such a friendship? Either he is going to share some of his rich experiences, either he is going to help us out in our materialistic life. Somewhere there is going to be a big benefit because of relationship with such a person. Now, a human being who is just a minuscule and who's temporary in this world, if he can make a difference in our life, just because we have a relationship with him, imagine the Lord who's unlimited, if he's going to become an important personality in our life, then how does our life change? That is the point to realize. See, if we realize this, then in our day-to-day life, connecting with the Lord, which is called as the yoga process, becomes top priority. Because we don't realize the value of this, we are making connections, or the yoga process will many, many unwanted things in our life. In fact, everything. Someone wants to do demigod worship because he is looking for a paltry benefit, a very, very minuscule, small benefit. He doesn't even know what is the undefined value. Someone wants, look at the varieties people get connected to. Someone wants to do tantric worship. Someone wants to do worship like what you have seen. I don't know how many of you have seen Kantara movie. These are all chota gods who can influence something. They want to do worship like that. Someone wants to worship with heroes in the material world who are also going to die in a day or two. They want to make him or his as his life. I was just noticing that when Puneet Rajkumar died, his photos and his posters were put all over. Okay. And I thought, okay, their fans, they'll have for a week's time. No, even after 1 year, 2 years, still have them. And they're celebrating anniversary also. Now imagine, he is a completely mortal soul who lived, who worked hard for his own living. Why we should connect with him, with his consciousness? You will also have the same destiny. That's the point. So, there are innumerable varieties of connection. Now, what is worst in Kali Yuga? The worst in Kali Yuga is that people are connecting with non-living things for source of happiness. And that's the worst part. Your mobile phones, your small objects of desire, material objects, cars, they make such a strong connection. What is making such connection? I mean, they always meditate on it. They think about it. They want better it. They want the best of it. And they're trying to lead that material life. Now, what's the use? Let's say you're unwell. Will your car help you? No. So, what Shastra teaches us is higher intelligence. It tells you that all these things that you see around you is manifested out of the energy of that Supreme Lord. So if we see it as a manifestation of the energy of the Supreme Lord, then what shall we do? If I'm really a loving disciple of the Lord, I shall use all these energies in service of the Lord. I will not see them as something separated from the Lord. And that is called realized knowledge. Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, matta sarvam pravartate. So what does that mean? He says, he uses the word sarvasya. He says, Aham, I. So he is the cause of the entire creation. He declares it boldly. Is there any God who declares boldly like that? No. Nowhere you will see such a bold declaration. Forget the books, the Puranas and the Upanishads and Shastras. Even you take other religion. Let them show one statement. In fact, other religions, the head of the religion, like Christianity or Mohammedan or Jainism or Buddhism, they all say we are children of God, servitude of God. So look at that boldness in the statement. So Krishna says that. So if you understand this, then you'll get a larger picture. Oh, all these things are creations of the Lord and they are created for a particular purpose. Okay, so how to understand this purpose? Okay, so let's take a simple example, a knife. A knife is in the kitchen. Knife was created for what? To cut vegetables, whatever things that you need as ingredients to assist you in your cooking purpose. Okay, so the knife can be used for a useful cause, but the same knife can be misused to harm someone else for a wrong purpose. So what does the Lord do? The creation is such that the many aspects of creation which can be used in the right purpose and in the wrong purpose. So men, because of their perverted mind, men means it includes women also, because of the perverted mind, they're not able to see that every aspect of activity and objects in this creation is to serve the Lord. But they think it is for their enjoyment. Now, once they think for their enjoyment, we go back to the same mentality that we came or we were pushed down to this material world because we wanted to enjoy as a sole proprietor, as an individual, as a control. So again, it goes back to the same mentality. Hence the cause of suffering. Why people suffer in this material world? Disease, economic problems, financial irregularities, legal issues, unlimited, the list goes on. Why people suffer? Just for the same reason. It's not about the activity, it's about why a person is performing the activity. Then we will see, oh, just connect everything back to the Lord. Your life is solved. You should act as a catalyst. What is a catalyst? A catalyst means a reaction will happen between two chemicals, chemical A and chemical B. The catalyst only plays the role of making the reaction happen, but it doesn't participate in the reaction. So similarly, connect everything back to the Lord. And that's your role. Then you will see that there's a meaning and purpose of our life. And the mercy of the Lord will take us back home, back to God. Okay, Prabhu, all these things look good. How do I understand this? How do I realize? How do I practice? So the Lord says, he has invested, he uses the word, he has invested all the potencies, all the glories, all the benefits in this holy name. Lord declares, the second sloka of Sikshashtakam. Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sharva Shakti. He says, Nija Sharva Shakti. I have invested all my energies in this holy name. Whatever you want, you will get it out of this holy name. That powerful it is. You want some material benefit, that also you'll get. You want spiritual benefit, that also you'll get. You want me personally to be for you, that also you will get through the holy name. You see, just by chanting the holy name, we are thinking that we will fall in love with the Lord. No, Lord says, I will also fall in love with you. That's the power of this holy name. Mahatma Das Prabhu, he teaches that there are what is called as, in English, it's called as mellows. In Sanskrit, it's called as rasas. So, these mellows are nothing but varieties of relationships. Okay. So, for example, let's say I see my mother. Can I practice Madhurya Leela with her? No, not possible. I can only experience Vatsalya Leela with her. Okay. Let's say I see my sister. Can I practice Sakhya Bhava with her? No, to an extent, but not fully. So, you see, there are restrictions as to what I can experience with anyone and everyone. But Lord says, I'm the only one who can exchange and experience all kinds of mellows with you. What do you want? I'll give you that. Whatever relationship. You want to have a fighting anger relationship with me? Yes. I'll help you to experience that with me. So that's how you see the Lord's energies are so widespread that enhances us to experience that with the Lord. Then how do you do that? Lord says, I've invested all these energies in the holy name. Just by chanting that holy name, you will experience, including exchange of rasas with me. What else you want? If someone is very offensive in nature, you must have noticed many people coming across, very proud, very offensive. They use slang words at all times. You must have noticed some people like that. Give them the holy name. If he chants, I'm not using the word sincerely, even insincerely. In a matter of month, 2, 3, his offensive nature will go away. Even if it doesn't go away 100%, it will definitely go away at 50%. It depends on his understanding of the subject and the depth at which he's chanting. So that's the power of the holy name. The beauty of the holy name is, it is not only the destination. The destination what? The final goal of the human life. But it is also the means to the destination. Oh Prabhu, if I realize holy name, Krishna, then I have gone back home, back to Godhead. Yes, true. But how do I realize? The same holy name. So that is the beauty. It acts as a means and the destination. For neophytes, it acts as a means. For realized souls, it acts as a destination. Of course, the varying degrees there. So, if we are able to love this holy name, what will happen? The first change in our heart is, you see, it is not about the rule of 16 rounds or anything. You just go on chanting. Chanting that dedicated round, 16 rounds as per Guru. And beyond that, whenever, wherever you have time. Okay. Now, how to be very successful with holy name? The first realization one we should have is this holy name is on a transcendental plane. It gives us devotion service to the Lord. That means what? We technically fall in love with the Lord. Oh Lord, I've realized I'm a servant. I will serve you in various capacities. I'll go on serving you. So, in the holy name, what happens? Because we are filled in our consciousness and mind with continuous material activities and material thoughts, the holy name is not finding itself time and space in our consciousness. You might have read the Shastra, you might have read Bhagavatam, you might have read Gita, whatever it may be. You might have read many Puranas, but still you'll see the holy name is not finding itself space and time because we are not giving it time. We are always busy. Job, travel, talking to people, material activities, social activities, philanthropic activities, enjoyment activities, chit-chat. Our list goes on. Hence, the holy name is not finding time to sit in our heart. So first we have to realize this. The first step of realization is, in a 24-hour slot, can I give a couple of hours slot for the holy name where I can chant only for realization of the Lord and nothing else? This allocation of 2 hours can start even with 15 minutes, but gradually increase it to half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, more. If we do this, the 64 Vidyas of knowledge, one by one will be revealed. And that's how you'll see that most of realized devotees in ISKCON, they'll speak every subject very, very correctly and deeply. Because the 64 Vidyas of knowledge to various degrees are being revealed in their hearts. They become experts. You will see they are experts in not one field, many fields. If one hears Srila Prabhupada lecture, you'll be wondering how Prabhupada knows so much. I mean, he is just from a small place. He didn't do his master's, PhD, nothing. How does he know so much? His knowledge is the mercy of the Lord and nothing else. So that's exactly the point here. So, first we have to give time for the holy name. And somehow you have to put a time chart in your day-to-day activities. Okay, Prabhu, morning or evening, what it may be. Give the dedicated time and you see the difference in your life. Krishna is saying, hey, you're prioritizing me in your life? Are you sure? Are you doing it once a while? Are you doing it regularly, consistently? Then he's going to prioritize you in his life. That's the meaning of Krishna saying, I will reciprocate with my devotees accordingly. So, attending these classes are good. But my point here is, we should realize the detailness of this. We should understand how we should practice this. And that's the key. Okay, so any questions? We will take it up. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
Yes.
See, a dedicated time, and we have to concentrate while chanting the Krishna's chanting. But many times when chanting, no, our mind goes here and there, and becoming a lot of and creating a lot of trouble not to concentrate and thinking and all. What should exactly we should do that to concentrate and do chanting only with Krishna thing? So many times I tried, but now I'm be able to concentrate bit compared to earlier days. Why this mind goes around and disturbs us in while chanting? What should be the activity that we should do to avoid this kind of diversion of mind while chanting Krishna consciousness, sir?
Okay. So in this world, do you know which is the fastest thing?
Mind, correct.
Yeah, okay, mind, but which is the fastest object, realized seen object?
Seen object. I didn't catch you exactly what do you
For
mean by
example, wind. When wind blows,
mm,
can blow to very high speed and kilometers. So, for example, during the time of
that much.
creation, this one wind blows to high
Mm.
speed. So, like that, wind is very, very fast, right? Now, faster than that is light. Faster than that is sound. Then faster than sound is light. Light can travel almost like 3 kilometers a second.
It's for
Okay.
sorry. Mm.
But this mind is much faster than even that light.
Oh.
There's no object faster than light in this creation, but mind is
Mm.
faster than that. So Acharya explains how fast the mind is. In a fraction of a second, you can realize that you're in Bangalore, in let's say Baswangudi, Jayanagar, wherever you are. You can realize. In a fraction of a time, you can realize that you are in New York. You can realize all the places that you went, the streets, the stores, the people, and you can fraction of a second come back to Bangalore. Okay, so that's the power of the mind. It is incomparably fast and incomparably efficient.
Incredible.
Okay. None of us have understood the potential of the mind. So there is a library, it is called as the National Congress Library in America. I think it is in Washington. Okay. So if you go to the library and you walk many floors, each hall size is massive. And each of these library halls have books, videos, audios stacked. I don't know how many crores of books are there in this. So it is said that if I convert all those books in this library into digital format, electronic format, and I understand how many gigabits of data it is, images, videos, content, it doesn't even occupy a fraction of mind's capability, your brain's capability. Not even a fraction. Can you imagine the capacity of your mind? So your mind is the fastest supercomputer. Your mind has got almost infinite storage. And the greatest aspect of the mind is, in a fraction of a second, it can take data out of the mind anywhere in this unlimited storage in a fraction of a second, and can make you to understand. This is the power of Krishna's creation. So that's your mind. So now, what have you done to this mind? Time immemorial, not just in this birth, births after birth, you've exposed this mind to many, many, many wanted and unwanted material activities. So the mind has become chanchal. It has become so unstable. It is just flying out to various touch points again and again and again. So now in this one birth, someone came and taught you, Prabhuji, chant the holy name, do this, do that. You're expecting that mind, which is so much of chanchal because of the time immemorial association with material activities, to immediately stay calm, steady, and listen to you. It's going to be a tough ask. But however, Krishna says, anything is possible by practice. So we have to practice in a very steady manner. The mind will keep going, but you're telling the mind to come back. It's going to take some time before the steadiness of the mind is achieved. It's like a yoga process. Let's say you join a simple yoga class. They teach you different types of yoga. They teach you Surya Namaskar. But will you become a yoga master in a matter of 10, 20, 30 classes? No. It takes several years
Yes.
to become a yoga, recognized trainer or recognized person. And different levels of yoga is there. Just to do body exercise, it takes several years. And body is the slowest object. Now we're talking about the mind, which is supercomputing and very efficient to contain within a short period of time. It's not possible. So practice. Now, while practicing, all of us are making a small mistake. What mistake we are making? We are using our force, material force, to control the mind. Oh, okay, I'm chanting, but why is the mind going, talking about the Annapurna restaurant, which serves a nice, tasty idlis with ghee on it? No, I want to pull it back. Suddenly, it is going to look at my son who's in Australia. What is he doing? And then pull it back to it. So these are all forcefully on a material plane, you're pulling the mind. Yeah, it will work, but it takes its own slow process. So what's the best way to do it? The best way to do it is to offer prayers to the Lord and seek His help to overcome the mind. So by the blessings and mercy of the Lord and by our efforts, when both combine together, you will see the chanchal of the mind is calmed. This is what is important to understand. This is what we learn out of the Damodar Leela also. The Lord says, just by sitting in one corner, you will never get your mercy. The Lord says, just by you taking every aspect of this burden and effort, you are not going to cross the ocean. It is the combination of the mercy and combination of your effort, you will cross this. It's the same thing with the mind. Practice, continuous basis, but in parallel, practice your bhakti yoga. Seek to the Lord and ask Him mercy before every time you want to chant. Do it heartfully. Do it deeply. Then you will see you will be able to cross this difficulty. Otherwise, you will never. That's why a devotee, a really practicing devotee, can easily come across all these difficulties. A non-devotee cannot do it. Are you getting the solution, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Neatly explained. I understood, but as you said, we have to practice, and also analyze day after day whether we are being successful compared to yesterday or not, and try to bring our mind and in a conscious way and chant the Krishna consciousness without bothering too much. As you said, the speed of mind is so high we should bring it back to a normal situation and start working and do the chanting.
Yeah, the main inspect is always offer prayers to the Lord to succeed in controlling the mind.
Yes, Prabhu, I'll do that. I will try to do it.
Work on the mercy. Yeah. So how do you work on the mercy? So for example, let's say you're performing your morning arati today. Okay? You did nicely Samsaradava. You did nicely Nakshing Arati. You did nicely Tulasi Arati. So what happens when you do Tulasi Arati? You might have committed many offenses and sinful activities. Tulasi will take away all of them. Now, when you're free of all these things, offer your praise to the Lord. Oh Lord, please help me to chant your holy name in a very nice, sweet manner. Help me to connect with you. So the Lord will be pleased and he'll say Tatasthu. So with that mercy and with your effort, cross this difficulty.
Yes, Prabhu. I will try to do it and I will inform you the progress.
Yes. The techniques and methods are simple. The problem is the application. People struggle with the application.
Correct, sir. Correct, Prabhu.
Okay. All the best. Hare Krishna. Okay,
Thank
let's
you.
go on. Okay. So here, even the lowest class of men is delivered from sinful activities simply by hearing the holy name of the Lord. Look at the power of Shravanam. King Chitraketu to Lord Shankrishna. Can we mute? Too much of background noise. Yeah. So King Chitraketu to Lord Shankrishna. So now you see King Chitraketu. Now let's understand the scenario before this. King Chitraketu is going through great material anxiety. What happened? After many years of tapasya and austerity, he got a son. And the son died. So now he is into more anxiety. So by the grace of his guru, he was able to witness or experience or see Lord Shankrishna. Shankrishna is none other than Balaram. So now, once Shankrishna came and showed himself, manifested in front of him to King Chitraketu, Chitraketu is having this conversation. He says, "Oh my Lord, it is not impossible for one to be immediately freed from all material contamination by seeing you." Now look at that. You know, the Lord is pure, pavitram, uttamam. Just because I saw you, I'm not immediately freed from all material contamination. The problem is the consciousness. So not to speak of seeing you personally, merely by hearing your holy name of Lordship only once, even Chandalas. Chandalas means people who do activities in a very abominable manner, right? See how, so for example, there are different classes of workers, right? You will see some workers are high class. They'll come in nice cars, they sit in an AC office, white collared. They do, that kind of workers are there. There are kind of workers who have, lower profiles. The other kind of workers are street workers. That means they have to go on the streets. So like that, there are many classes of workers. But out of those workers, you see there's some set of workers who are like, they work on the sewage, the drainage. They go under the pipes, the drainage pipes. They work there. So like that, in human beings also, there are many classes of men. The men with highest knowledge with realization, or just knowledge, practices. Like that, you have these varnas and ashramas. So now, Beyond a certain point, there are certain men who perform very, very abominable activities, which are called activities prohibited in the Shastra. Oh, you shouldn't do all these things, but these men will do all of them. Those are called chandalas. The chandalas does not mean they'll have extra two teeth projecting out or two horns out of their head. Chandalas means they're so ignorant and they're so much bodily conscious and they do activities which are prohibited in the Shastras. Right? So he says, such a chandala, who's called lowest class of men, can be brought to the highest class of Brahminical quality. Brahmana here means, don't visualize Brahmana as having someone who's having a shika, tilak, and thread and a pancha. Don't imagine like that. A human being with high quality activities that are transcendental in nature is called a Brahman. Brahmana is not an outlook. Brahmana is the state of consciousness who perform and produce activities on the transcendental plane. They're very knowledgeable. They do that. That's called a Brahman. Okay. So the holy name says, who's saying? Shankarshana, Chetraketu is asking Shankarshana that this can deliver out of such a bad condition. He says, under the circumstances, who will not be freed from material contamination simply by seeing you. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 9.5.16, Yannama Shruti Matrena Puman Bhavati Nirmalaha. Nirmalaha is the key. Simply by hearing Yannama Shruti of the Lord, one is immediately purified. Therefore, in this age of Kali, when all people are very contaminated, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is recommended as the only means of improvement. Look at this. He says only means of improvement. So hence, we don't chant the holy name in a prescribed time and say we are done. No, we chant the holy name all the time. So why? Because we are in a society, we are in an environment where there is constant contamination. Constantly. You can ask a doctor, what does contamination mean? They'll wear masks, they'll wear headbands, they'll wear coats, they'll wear gloves. And after doing all these things, they'll keep on applying sprays, Shuddhi. Just like how we do Achaman Shuddhi, they keep doing Shuddhi. That's purification from contamination. So, on the spiritual transcendental plane, our contamination is in the consciousness level. We need to purify them. So, by constantly chanting the holy name, we can purify our consciousness. That's what he's saying. Hence, he says, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. He uses the word quarrel and hypocrisy is the state of affairs now. Okay, why he uses the word quarrel? Why quarrel? Let's see quarrel. Be it two people in the same society, be it father and son, mother and daughter, sisters, brothers, uncle and aunts, cousins, master servant, wherever it may be. One small deviation, you will see there's a quarrel. Always there is quarrel. There is quarrel at the smallest object like ants, and to the highest animal, there is quarrel. There is quarrel even when there are just 4 or 5 families living in a village or to big countries. There's quarrel among countries, they quarrel among religions, they quarrel among people, they quarrel among societies. Everywhere there is quarrel. And that's the nature of this Kali Yuga. How fast, if you get fire close to cotton, how far it can catch fire? Fraction of a second. So the quarrel is also like that. Just like that, it will catch. This in Kali Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, that's the nature of this world in Kali Yuga. People quarrel and fight for everything. There's no tolerance, there is no patience. There's no God realization. Okay. And just the hypocrites. So what's a hypocrite? Hypocrites are like fanatics, people with chauvinistic thoughts. They're called hypocrites. They don't know why they're doing it. They'll just do according to what the mind says. Crazy. So he says that's the nature of this world. That's what the people are. That means you are living in a society which is influenced with high levels of quarrelism, high levels of hypocrisy. How can you better yourself? Okay, how to understand this? Let's say you put your son or your daughter in a school, and in a class there are 100 students. 99 students in that class are rowdies. They keep shouting, quarreling and fighting with the teacher. They don't study. Okay? And that's the nature of all these 99 students in the class. Do you expect that your son and daughter will be a sattvic, nice student, nicely studying, getting good marks, and being a very good student? Do you think you expect that quality from your daughter or your son? Impossible. So that is what is happening to each one of us also in this society. So hence, the Shastra is saying there is no hope for anyone. We will also be like this, like dogs, quarreling at each other for no reason. So hence, for the intelligent class of men, one who is called very, very intelligent, the Shastra is telling, take shelter of the holy name. If you take shelter of the holy name, whatever may be the society, whatever may be the environment, how bad it may be, the holy name will shield you. The shield you meaning shield your consciousness. And you'll continue to make progress towards Shuddha, purity, highest purified consciousness you can reach. That's the power of holy name. That's what Shastra says. There is no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. Other performances of austerity may give you some relief, temporary relief, but again you're put back into the same condition. Like performing yajna or going to a river or going to a punyasthala. Yes, you'll get the temporary relief, but your permanent relief and your permanent shelter is the holy name. So hence, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he introduced the chanting of the holy name. And now, because we have this Krishna conscious movement, the Hare Krishna movement, we're actually seeing that men who are considered to be belonging to the lowest class are being delivered from all sinful activities just by hearing the holy name of the Lord. So, hear the holy name of the Lord, chant the holy name of the Lord, and do it blissfully. Don't do it out of burden. Samsara, the material existence, is a result of sinful action. So what are we are experiencing in our material life? The business that we do, the activities that we perform, the kinds of friends and relationships that we have, the house that we live, whatever opulence we possess. More than that, a type of body that we possess. Our looks, color, angas, the disease, the conditions, everything we get is nothing but a reaction, the resultant reaction of all the sins that we performed in the past. And in this birth, whatever sins we perform, we will get the body in the next birth accordingly. And there's no doubt about it. So everyone in this material world is condemned What is condemned? Condemned means putting a prisoner into a very pathetic condition, to a very difficult condition full of struggle. That's condemned. It says, yet there are different grades of prisoners. Yes, there are prisoners which is A class, B class, C class prison, where the A class prison means he may stay in AC room comfortably, but it still is prison, no problem. But C class, he has to break stones, he has to work hard, no food, no toilets, nothing, not even sunlight. There are prisons like that. So there are different grades of men. All of them, in all status of life, are suffering. That is the key. Whether you are a king, whether you are a Chandala, everyone is suffering in this material world. Someone became a king, someone became a Chandala, all because of karma or the sinful reactions of their activities in the past. And that's the nature of this world that we are living here. So, when we chant the holy name, take up the Hare Krishna movement, chant the holy name with sincerity, with a lot of love. What happens? Not only we cross these difficulties in this material life, but we also reach a supreme destination, which is away from this material world. That is the power of the holy name. So, we should prioritize this as the topmost activity in our life. As we start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, as we start reading Bhagavad Gita, the value of this holy name, the value of this subject is realized more and more. That way, we will easily come across the difficulties and sufferings of this world. Okay, so we'll stop here and let me take few questions before we end the class. We'll have 5 to 10 minutes questions, Q&A sessions. And any question is a good question. There's nothing called an intelligent question or a stupid question. Any question is a good question. We'll try to.
Prabhu, do you have any link to understand how to control mind? And if there is any stories or something like that?
So there are many stories in Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So if you attend these classes with a practicing devotee, you will slowly realize all of them.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Before you started the class, you said when the Ekadashi is done successfully, the Lord is pleased, you said, no, Prabhu?
Yes.
Anything more you can tell on that particular thing, Prabhu?
It's very simple. Ekadasi is name of a divine personality. Okay. And she's very dear to Krishna because she serves Krishna so wonderfully. Okay. So she takes the benediction of the Lord that I will appear, my glory will gain importance the third day after the waning and waxing of the moon. That means third day after Purnami, third day after Amavasya. That is her, that day belongs to her. So she says, in those days, whoever worships me meaning on her day, you're worshipping the Lord. Okay, you're practicing devotion. She says, whoever practices devotion on that day should become liberated. Okay, the Lord awards her that benediction. Now that means what it means to her, to us. Today is the day of Ekadasi. That means day of divine personality. On this day, if we take up the austerity of non-grain food, austerity of reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, austerity of chanting, reducing our material activities and more focusing on the Lord. Then the Lord is going to be so pleased that He will not just give you a regular benediction, but He'll have a multiplier. So Ekadasi has a multiplier. I don't know whether it's 10 or 100, something like that is there. So that multiplying benefit will act on us. Why? Very simple. Lord says, hey, you've realized this value and you're making this effort to connect with me. So hence I'm very pleased.
The Lord is giving us the benefits, Prabhu. How about Ekadashi? She also gives us?
I mean, she is again a servant of the Lord. She is one of the energy of the Lord. So the Lord's benefits come through her energy.
Okay, Prabhu.
There's nothing that she individually does.
Because the Lord is utmost.
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank
So
you,
that's
Prabhu.
the power of Ekadasi. Right? So for example, in Kartik Mas, why Kartik Mas performance is very important? Because Kartik Mas belongs to Srimati Radharani. Oh, in Kartik Mas, I'm going to do this austerity, these things means, then Srimati Radharani is being given the prime importance. So what she does, she says, hey, when you put one small step of devotion in this month, I will decorate it and offer to the Lord. How? So for example, let's say you made let's say a small sweet. Yeah? The sweet can be just given in hand to someone.
Yes, Prabhu.
Of course, the taste is going to be the same. The sweet is going to be given by hand. Okay, come on, eat. Another way to give that sweet is buy a nice, beautiful plate, nicely place them, and decorate the objects around it, and put some nice saffron and a nice fragrance around it, and then offer to the person to take. Now, one is the taste of the sweet, another is, hey, look at this offering, it's so beautiful. So, just by seeing whether it's good or not, that person is going to take that sweet, correct? The presentation aspect. So, similarly, even though we don't have those high qualities, but that much level of beauty in terms of consciousness, Radharani decorates us. Because we practiced devotion in Kartik month. She decorates us and offers us to the Lord.
Yes, Prabhu.
And Krishna takes it immediately. See, that is the beauty. That's what Ekadasi does. And that's what Srimati Radharani does.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Namaskar.
Yes, Mother. Understand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Today being Mahashivaratri, and Shiva is a latest Vaishnava. We have to increase our chanting or anything else you would suggest us, Prabhu?
Mahashivaratri is a day dedicated for Lord Shiva. That people generally confuse it by practicing certain procedures as per Shiva Purana in order to please Lord Shiva. Okay. So if you read Shiva Purana, there are many recommendations that are being told as activities to perform that will please Lord Shiva. Okay, what Shiva does? Shiva, he is the position of husband of goddess of Durga. Right? So Durga Devi is the superintendent or the controller of the three modes of material nature. Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic. Okay. And he being the husband of her, that means she will work under his guidance. Okay. So now what happens on Shivaratri? When you follow certain procedure and practices as recommended in Shiva Puran, you will please Lord Shiva. Now, there are two ways to please Lord Shiva. One is to please Lord Shiva in connection with his master, or to please Lord Shiva in a separated, isolated manner. Now, following Shiva Purana and following certain procedure is to please the Lord alone. Now, when you please the Lord alone, Lord Shiva, he tells Durga Devi to give more material benefits. Okay? It can be one's health, beauty, more wealth, opulence. He may get promotion. He may become very, higher in his authority. Anything possible. So he awards material benediction. That is when Lord Shiva is worshipped alone. When Lord Shiva is worshipped as a devotee of Lord Krishna, he benedicts or awards us not the material benediction, the transcendental benediction. Okay. So when he awards transcendental benediction, it's like blessings of a Vaishnava. Right? For example, in Damodar Leela, what did he see? When these two personalities, the sons of Kuvera, when they misbehaved, they got benediction from Narada Muni. Narada Muni, being a great Vaishnava, what did he tell? Hey, you'll suffer for what your sins are. But when they fell at Narada Muni's feet, what he said? Okay, no problem. At the end of your suffering, you will see Lord eye to eye, face to face, and you'll go back to God. See? He gave that benefit. So that means that's the power of Vaishnava. So, on this day, when Lord Shiva benedicts you, when you worship him not in separation of Krishna, in connection with Krishna, then he benedicts you. What benedicts he gives? That you become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. You make quicker progress on the platform of Yoga Maya. So like that, he benedicts you. And that benediction is what Vaishnavas want. Non-Vaishnavas, what they want? Material opulence. Oh, Lord Shiva, I'm living in a small house, which is a lot of difficulty. Increase my house of size. Get my daughter married. Get my son married. Help me to go to America. So that's what their consciousness is. He'll say Tatastu. Because he's called Ashutosha. What does Ashutosha mean? Ashutosha means just you pour one drop of Ganges water on Shiva's head. He'll be so happy, he'll say Tatastu. So when you go to a temple of Lord Shiva, as a great Vaishnava, if you honor him, he'll say Tatastu for that also. That means you will become devotee of Krishna very, very nicely and quickly. So that's how you understand Lord Shiva.
Thank you.
Okay. So on this day, worship Shiva and request him, please make me a good devotee and realized devotee of the Lord. He will benedict you. That's all. You don't need to do anything more than this as a Vaishnava.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So are we done? Okay. Yes, probably. Okay. So Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Tat Sat. Okay. I wish all of you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Until next Saturday, we'll meet again.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu, Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavate Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam.
ಯಾರೋ ಪಿಕಪ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ದಂಡವತ್ ಪ್ರಣಾಮ ಪ್ರಭು.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam.